Hey, this is Will. So in this episode, I'm going to discuss YouTube for business and explain to you and give you some very valuable tips how you can use YouTube to grow your business, generate more revenue, build authority, and all of those amazing things. And honestly, I think YouTube is one of the best ways to grow business, and I know it's a pretty big claim, and I'm going to explain exactly why am I saying this, and on top of that, I'm going to tell you what you can do to how you can use YouTube to grow your business. And I'm even going to give you some examples how some companies have absolutely crushed it with YouTube, and just some other very useful examples. So I'm pretty excited about this episode because I love YouTube and I think it's just an amazing opportunity for pretty much any kind of business, whether you have a small business, whether you have a product, service business, whatever exactly it is. By the way, make sure to check out my main YouTube channel for some very useful information, and also my Instagram for quick and actionable growth hacks. Also, every single week I give out one of my courses completely for free. If you're listening to this as a podcast, just take the title, put it on YouTube, find the video, make sure to smash the thumbs up button and leave a comment to enter the competition. Now let's jump into the episode. So first of all, there are a few different ways how you can use YouTube for business. So first of all, you can create content on YouTube, you can create different videos, and there are actually a couple of different ways you can do that as well within just the video creation. You can also work with influencers on YouTube, so with YouTubers, and you can also run ads on YouTube. So I would say these are sort of the main three ways that you can grow your business on YouTube. So let's start out with the first one, which is actually creating videos on YouTube and growing your business doing that. So there are, as I said, a few different ways how you can do this. And first of all, I think it's an absolutely amazing way to grow a business. If you look at something, let's say search engine optimization, a lot of companies, they go crazy about search engine optimization because obviously once you put in that effort, it's going to keep on driving traffic for you for years and years to come, and you can get really high return on your investment. When it comes to YouTube, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. However, the difference here is that when it comes to search engine optimization, ranking on Google, it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of effort, money, and all of that to actually start ranking, and you're not going to see results for long time. Whereas with YouTube, there are some cases, and I'm not saying this is going to happen to everyone right away, but you can definitely start seeing traffic right away, and sometimes you can even explode and see a ton of traffic very quick. And basically there are two ways how you can go about this. So there's the first way is doing optimizing for YouTube search. So again, doing basically SEO for YouTube. So optimizing, finding, or well, creating content that is being searched for, and if you can do something that's evergreen, so it's going to keep on driving traffic to you for years and years to come. So finding that content, creating it, making sure that you're optimizing your titles, descriptions, optimizing your keywords, and all of that kind of stuff. And the other way is basically trying to create content that is more sort of viral nature. So it's not necessarily evergreen content, so people might not be searching for that content, but you can get clicks, you can get a lot of clicks, and there is even potential for the videos to go viral. And it's just content that's very easy for people to consume right now, and a lot of brands do that as well and are absolutely killing it. So one thing that I would advise a lot of brands to do, depending obviously on your situation, depending how much time you have, how much money you have, what is your plan, whether you have a short-term plan or a long-term plan. But I would definitely advise to look at YouTube SEO and create content that people are going to look for, because as I said, it's just an amazing way. You're going to get really good return on investment if you do something like that. And then I think I would start, even if I'm just doing the SEO, I would start mixing in some of the content that's a little bit more viral in nature, but it's not necessarily optimized for SEO, just to have a little bit of that opportunity to potentially get a larger amount of traffic, and then just, generating money a little bit faster. And there are a lot of companies that are absolutely killing it when it comes to this. So a friend of mine is running a company that is called Wishtrend in Korea, and this company is basically just selling beauty products, for Korean beauty products for Westerners. And they created a YouTube channel where they got a few girls to basically do tutorial videos, review videos, just useful information about skincare in general. They actually now even went as far as just creating useful information about Korea, because they just got so much back from YouTube. They were generating insane revenue. I mean, they're making millions of dollars from it. And literally, I think it was more than half, I think might have even been 75% of their revenue coming just from YouTube alone. So they actually built out a whole YouTube studio in their office. They had, I think, like a 4-story office, and one of the floors was just dedicated to YouTube content promotion. So for them, it was a complete game changer. Basically, they are doing a bunch of different stuff, but their company basically has been built from YouTube, and they do have now a couple million subscribers or something like that. And honestly, when we look at some other companies as well, you can find many different examples of this as well. I'm not going to go through all of the different examples, not to bore you now, but if you want to do something like this yourself, it honestly is not, well, there are a lot of different aspects that do make the whole YouTube thing a little bit tricky, but in essence, you just need to find topics that your customer is interested in. So let's say you're selling a fitness product, and this is something really cool that if I had a fitness brand, this is most definitely what I would do. If I was selling some sort of fitness product, I would basically just find all of the topics that people are interested about in fitness and start creating all of these videos, and within those videos then have some sort of call to action that leads to the website where I'm selling my offer, and obviously give out some sort of freebie, give out a lead magnet, and acquire the email address of those people, and then you can remarket and sell them through email, and so on and so forth. But the cool thing, the very important thing here, what you need to understand is why this is very powerful is because you are building out authority. And with YouTube especially, because you can build out authority on Instagram, you can build out authority if you run your own blog, but with YouTube, because of this video aspect, you sort of create a connection. I don't know if you ever notice that if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, but there is definitely this thing where people, they start feeling like they have some sort of connection with you. They start feeling like they actually know you. I used to have a big YouTube channel back in the day, and I would meet people on the street that would recognize me, and they literally would start, hugging me and taking pictures with me and just chatting with me like we're old friends. And it would be very interesting, because I would be like, hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate all these nice things, but I'm like, I also just met you. Like, I don't actually know you. It seems to you that you know me, but actually, like, we don't really know each other. And that is the same when it comes to business as well, depending on how exactly you represent your brand. But the same kind of thing applies, honestly. And I know a lot of different YouTubers personally, and honestly, it is absolutely insane how much of the different products they can sell compared to anything else. Let's say you write a blog post, you have a sponsored content on Instagram or something like that. With YouTube, you're going to get much higher conversion rates. So this is why I would advise pretty much every business to start a YouTube channel and make it also as personal as possible, because I think the most important thing about YouTube is that it's just really good way to create that connection with your customers. And obviously another great thing is that it can be long-term and people can keep on finding that content compared to some other marketing methods like Instagram, where the livelihood of a post is much shorter than a YouTube video. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not saying that it is really simple to do or anything like that. I have been geeking out about YouTube for years and figuring out different strategies and all of these different things. And there is quite a bit of stuff to learn, I'm not going to lie. But I think at the end of the day, it's definitely worth it, because nothing is easy. All of the other different marketing methods, they are difficult as well. So I think YouTube is some of the best return on investment that you can get, not just monetary, but in terms of building out relationships and authority. So the next thing that I want to discuss as well, that I think is going to apply for vast majority of the businesses out there, is working with influencers. As you know, you can get really successful campaigns with influencers. And as I already mentioned a little bit, from knowing other influencers, and I actually have done a lot of brand deals myself. And honestly, just because of that connection that I mentioned that you are creating with your audience, you get much better results than any other social media platform. You really get really high conversions when it comes to that, and it really helps to build out authority. So basically, if you have a YouTuber who is going to recommend your product or your service, that is going to build you a lot of credibility. And there are a lot of different ways how you can go about doing this. You can sometimes, with a smaller micro YouTubers, perhaps you can just give out your product or service, whatever it is. Maybe you can just give it out for free in exchange of a review. For some people, you might need to pay some money. You might find some different ways how you can collaborate. So there are quite a few different options how you can go about this. But out of all of the different marketing methods, working with influencers, and I have made some videos how exactly to work with influencers. It was a little bit more towards Instagram, but it can apply for YouTube as well. So do you look, I think it's called Free Influencer Marketing Course or something like that. I do explain how to go through the whole process, and Instagram can work really well, but especially depending on what your product or service is, I think YouTube works well because it's more of a long form content. So if you look at other social media platforms, it's not going to be the same extent if you look at something like Instagram compared to YouTube. And the last method, as you said, is to use YouTube ads. And YouTube ads can work really well. I think everyone's just jumping into Facebook, into Google, but not as many companies are doing YouTube. And I do understand it at the same time, because the entry is a little bit more difficult, because you actually need to create a video instead of an image. So definitely that is a little bit more complicated. But as far, again, I mean, it depends on your niche, depends on your product and all of that. But in general, I would say you can get a little bit better return on investment, just because the competition is somewhat lower on YouTube ads. I'm not going to go in depth of how exactly do you go about doing that. There are different options of the different ads you can run, so on and so forth. But I would say that if you are interested in ads and you don't want to create the content yourself and you don't want to work with influencers, then definitely look into YouTube ads. And I will try to leave, again, some useful links, because a lot of these things you can outsource. So if you don't are not comfortable creating video ads yourself, you don't know how to do it, you can actually find services that can do that fairly cheaply for you. Make sure to still do a lot of A/B testing and all that kind of stuff. Don't just have one ad and that is it. Do put in the effort to actually see good results. So I hope this made it a little bit more clear how you can use YouTube for your business and what exactly is the opportunity and if it's worth for you. I definitely see again a lot of potential when it comes to YouTube. If you have any questions, if you're listening to this as a podcast, take the title, put it in YouTube, find a video, leave your questions in the comments. I'll try to answer as many of those as I can. Make sure to check out my main YouTube channel and my Instagram for quick and actionable growth hacks. If you find this useful, make sure to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, put on those notifications, stay awesome, and I'll see you soon.